Good evening. We're very excited to be at Liberty Elementary this evening for our regular meeting for Tuesday, December 3rd. Please stand for the pledge of allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Mr. Grigsby. Here. Mr. Haynes. Here. Mrs. McCarthy. Mrs. Saxon.
Here.
Mr. Vaca.
Here. Finalization of the agendas and each will remove.
The agenda is finally presented.
Thank you. We'll bring in the superintendent treasurer's report.
Okay, I'd like to introduce Ms. Jackie Vance, who is going to share with the board and our public a little bit about our federal funding update. Thank you.
Hi, everybody.
Hello.
So, just a little reminder is that annually we are required, by the Department of Education and Workforce that we do a report to the public and to our board, just reviewing our federal funds. And so I do this annually. I know it's one of the most exciting reports that you guys hear. But I say follow the same format as always. So we'll go ahead. You can go to the next slide. There are 4 types within federal funding. I'll cover those 4. The first one is Title I, which is about improving basic programs. I've shared with you a basic summary of how that money is used. It's based on the number of free and reduced lunch. And the money is used to improve basic programming within the schools. Money must be used in the school, specifically for the free and reduced population within 5% of the building with the largest free and reduced percentage. We cannot use that money to pay for things that the general fund would pay for. I've listed this year what the allocation was the previous year and what the current allocation is. I thought that that would be helpful. So current allocation for this year is $481,843.66. You can see that as a slight increase from the previous year. All of these funds are Title I funds, is used for salary and benefits for our Title I teachers, specifically at Liberty. Next slide, Title IIA, which is supporting effective instruction. The amount of money that we get is determined again by the state and is based on a percentage. This money is to be used for effective instruction through professional development by paying for consultants, workshops, sub-costs and supplies. A lot of that comes from, especially when we get new curriculums or anything that is coming out from the state that we do have provide that professional development for. And so, as you can see, our allocation is $119,551.65. That was an increase from the previous year. Increases are based on different reasons, whether it's enrollment, whether it's based on state funding, changing some of the calculations for different funding sources. So sometimes people say, why is there an increase or a decrease? And those are several of the reasons. All the funds that are used here were for salaries and professional development and non-publics, which is another piece that we utilize those funds for specifically. So our Title IV, which is student support and academic enrichment. This one is a lot of times we set aside a percentage of this for technology. We cannot, for any of these funds, use to pay for anything that the general fund would be used for to purchase, and it must be in addition to what we've already been for. So the allocation here is $36,336.51. These funds are used specifically to expand STEM across the district. The next slide is IDEA Part B, so that's within our special education funds, and you will find this is our largest federal funds that we receive. The money amount is calculated by looking at the percentage of students that we have that qualify for disabilities, and we can again not use that money for things that the general fund is used to pay for. So it's $1,105,074.66. That is a slight decrease, not significant decrease, but everything counts in my world, as you all know. And the available funds are typically to pay for the salaries and benefits for intervention specialists throughout the district. In final, we have IDEA Part B. That is our special education for early childhood. For providing funding for local school districts to support specifically our students ages 3 to 5. And this money is again calculated by looking at the percentage of students who qualify with a disability. You can see there was very, very minor increase there, ever so little, but $33,222.84. And again, we use this specifically to pay for salaries of paraprofessionals here in the district, specifically that work in preschool. So again, this information will be posted on the website. I always have a statement about, within student services about federal funding, and then people can read out and ask questions, and we can attach this if anybody wants to see it further. So that's what I have. I don't know if you have any comments.
Do you feel that the special education allotment, though lower, is still
Enough.
enough?
So I will tell you that when IDEA was originally adopted, many years ago, the goal was for it to cover 40%. We're nowhere near that. The cost of, supporting our students here in the district, not only our typical peers, but also our students with special needs, we do not receive the amount needed truly to cover that. There are methods for us to recoup some funds through some different methods here in the state, but it's not enough to truly cover the costs of what is needed for each student individually. So that's the unfortunate part, and it's the ongoing challenge. But again, we continue to work to see how we do that fiscally responsibly so that we can meet the needs of all of our students.
Ms. Vance, obviously, we continue to meet the needs of all our students. This is to enhance opportunities. It does nothing for what's coming out of the general fund.
Right, I mean, I guess some ways you'd say this is your base, and then the general fund is how we support everything that we do need to do. We could never meet the needs between staffing and also just the generalized services for students, day to day. But again, we continue to do that because we do have the capacity and we need to support it based on our IDPs. So that is one of those requirements that we have to do. So we make it work, for sure. So. All right, thank you.
Thank you. Back in with you.
Thank you. Is there any announcements this evening? Here's an opportunity for hearing of the public. If anybody in attendance would like to address the Board of Education, now to your hands. Please approach the podium, state the name and your address.
But fill this one out too.
Yeah.
Means Mark Steinberger. And then 37,400 Sugar Creek Lane. What else do you have? Okay. Had 4 kids go through the Swansville district. Sorry, I'm sorry. Today, I come to you as a concern, not only a parent, but a teacher. The past fall, as a Cleveland school teacher, I volunteered 4 Saturdays for 2 hours canvassing neighborhoods to pass our school levy. As I canvassed fellow teachers, administrators, and parents, I noticed something. Not one representative from a religious or private schools canvassing with me. As a resident of North Ridgeville, I advocated and supported every bond and levy our schools have requested. We all know in a few years, we'll be asked again, as taxpayers to contribute more money. We all know that the majority of our state representatives and senators, as well as our governor, are no fans of the public schools. They continue to pass legislation that is harmful to our children. They continue to fund our schools unconstitutionally. They continue to preach the fallacy of school choice. Most people know that not all children are given a choice. Don't believe me? Just walk into a religious private school and count how many of their students have intensive special needs. Thankfully, our public schools accept everybody, whether you are poor, physically disabled, or speaking another language. I come here today to request our elected school board and superintendent to take a stand for public education, take a stand for homeowners, take a stand for parents. As you know, Ed Choice vouchers are siphoning money out of our public schools and depositing into the accounts of private schools. As a matter of fact, the state now contributes over $1 billion to Ed Choice vouchers. These same private schools have zero accountability despite being awarded these tax dollars. There currently is a lawsuit filed by the state of against the state of Ohio that will challenge Ed Choice vouchers, school funding, and equality. There are currently well over 100 school districts that sign on to this lawsuit. These districts range from urban districts to cities like Columbus. Local districts like Vermillion, Homestead Falls, Medina, and Wellington have also joined the lawsuit. As a resident of North Ridgeville, I expect my district to finally take a stand of not just vouchers, but the unconstitutional ways we fund our schools. Show the residents you have their back. The same people who passed your levies. And please join this lawsuit. Public schools make up 84% of all Ohio school children. We are the majority, and it's time to take a stand against the state of Ohio. I did email a couple of board members, a link to this lawsuit. I also have information that I'm going to forward to all you guys also. And it's all the information on how to join this lawsuit and how to protect public school funds. Okay, thank you.
Yep. Anybody else this evening that would like to address the Board of Education? Okay, seeing none, we'll move to the consent agenda. You and resources report, Mr. Hank. Good. Back up now. Too many pages. Communications report, Mr. Grayson.
It is recommended that the Board of Education accept the following gifts of appreciation. The choir boosters are $1,193.55 from the Election Day High School Choir sale. Sharon Brownie donated a gently used cornet in case of the high school band program. The Drama Club parents donated $3,525 for the Drama Club program. And following seven donations were for RHTA PTO, or from the RHTA, $307.94 with the PBIS prizes, $55.49 for the school nurse for office needs, $51.90 for the testing snacks for third graders, $207.94 for a gift card for principal use for the PBL projects, $150 for the Simply Piano membership, $197.65 for staff dinner during conferences, and $3,850.08 for the teacher grant program. These RHTA parents and friends donated for the triathlon. Karen Gallagher, $10, Amanda Bradley, $25, Paul Hamlin, $100, and Michelle Erner, $50. The ECLC PTA donated $267.48 for the fall conference dinner. $1,350 for the Columbus Children's Theater performance for kindergarten. And the Freedom Painting, $50 donation for Veterans Day luncheon. And the Lions Club in Bridgeville donating $200 for the Rise of the Bridge program. And the North Bridgeville Athletic Boosters donating $2,352 for rental fees for the tennis program. And $2,500 for warm-ups for the wrestling team. We thank our community for the tremendous support of our schools and students.
Thank you. Human Resources report, Mr. Hayes.
We have a number of items in the human resources report. One certified leave replacement contract, 3 certified staff leave of absence, 1 support staff leave of absence. This is the first reading of these items. The second reading and considerations for approval will be at the 17th December regular meeting.
Show the roads there. We appreciate your service. Thank you. All right, moving into other board business, human resources report, Mr. Hanks.
We have several items to consider under the resources report, 2 support staff appointments, 1 NRTA supplemental contract, 1 support staff resignation, 1 self-agreement and release. I move to approve items in 1 reading.
Moved by Mr. Haynes, second by Mr. Grigsby, is there any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Haynes.
Yes.
Mr. Grigsby. Yes. Mrs. McCarthy. Mrs. Saxon.
Yes.
Mr. Vaca.
Yes. It is recommended that the Board of Education enter into executive session to discuss the employment, dismissal, discipline, promotion, demotion, compensation of public employees, and matters related to negotiation of public employees. There will be no action upon. Moved by Ms. Saxon, second by Mr. Haynes, roll call, please.
Mrs. Saxon.
Yes.
Mr. Haynes.
Yes.
Mr. Grigsby. Yes. Mrs. McCarthy. Mr. Vaca.
Yes. Thank you, everybody.